Hey gang, welcome back to the Sales Differentiation Minute. The lease on my wife's car was coming due next month, so yesterday we went to a car dealership to test drive a few cars that she might be interested in for her next ride. We get to one dealership, salesperson comes up to us, and I shared with him that there were two cars that my wife was interested in test driving. He walks us over to his cubicle, flips his computer screen towards us, and starts talking car features. And I interrupted him. Hey, I mentioned we don't have a lot of time. My wife just wants to test drive these cars to see if there's interest. Now, the salesperson, visibly annoyed, asked for my insurance and my wife's driver's license, which we gave him. Totally understandable. A few moments later, pushes a pad to us, asked for a cell phone and email address, and I said, I'd rather not provide that until we see if this is a car of interest. Now he's really annoyed. He says, well, that's our process. Maybe he'd rather deal with someone else. Well, given his attitude, I agree with him and asked to work with someone else who happened to be in earshot of this conversation, and he was no better. First thing out of his mouth, that's our process. This is a $60,000 car in exchange for your email address. Well, if that was really the offer, that's a done deal. Of course I would do that. Well, that was the end of the conversation. We walked out of that dealership frustrated because we wanted to get a deal done that day. Now, I'm a huge proponent of having a sales process. Heck, I create sales processes for companies. But your sales process has to be flexible enough to align with the buyer in their decision-making process. The sales process can never be more important than their buying process. It can't be so rigid that salespeople can't adapt to the situation. I was clearly a prospect, one who was motivated, ready to buy, and their process rigidity cost them the deal. Had my wife liked the car, we would have sat down with them, learned about the options, engaged in conversation, shared our contact information, and maybe even inked a deal. Well, what's the proof of that? We went to another car dealership and bought a car that same day. Remember, don't just sell different.